The guest on this episode of The Surge Show asked for their identity not to be revealed. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello world, welcome to The Surge Show, a podcast brought to you by the one and only Surge Clothing. Make sure to go shop at www.surgeclothing.shop for any and all of your clothing needs. And today on The Surge Show, we have a masked man who goes by the name Mr. Feynman. Welcome to the show. So, today we're going to be giving an interview to him. Mr. Feynman, what got you into reselling?
Well, at a very young age...
You're going to have to pull up a little closer.
At a very young age, I learned that to get things in life that you want, you need to get them yourself. And I was taught by my mom that you're responsible for what you get and what you need and what you want, so you have to figure out a way to do it. There's many ways to make money in life. And I believe my first flip was in the 4th grade. For some reason, I really wanted a crossbow, so I decided, how can I make money? And I'm really good at origami and making paper airplanes, so I actually sold a paper airplane for like $40, and I bought a cheap crossbow for like $25, and like think about it, $40 for a piece of paper.
Yeah.
In life, you either are sold or you sell, and I choose to be a seller no matter what it comes to. When you get a call from a telemarketer, they either sell you an item or you sell them to hanging up the phone. You know what I mean? You sell them in however to get them to leave you alone. There's always a seller and there's always someone being sold.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting. You said origami because I used to do origami too, and I set up like this room in my room upstairs, and I had all this stuff set up, and I would take pictures and send them out to like my aunts and stuff, and like try to sell them to them. But I didn't sell anything for $40 though.
$1 here, $1 there, you know what I mean? I used to sell like regular stuff for like 10 cents to like $1. I even had like this kid who would manage the money for me. I don't even know how I pulled that off, but then like there was this kid who like loved me, and I think he wanted me to be his friend. And that's sort of like how these famous people start their brands and they start selling shit for so much money. Like, people who want to be friends with Jay-Z, they go and buy his Douce or whatever the fuck he sells. Like, that's pretty much how it goes. Like, people want to buy a lifestyle, and if you sell them the lifestyle of Mr. Feynman, you sell them the lifestyle of Surge, you know, they feel like they're part of something.
That's true. So what did that grow into?
From there it stemmed into a technology-oriented reselling business. I really wanted a new computer, and my mom was like, I'm not buying you a new computer. So I bought a broken computer for $25, figured out how to fix it, sold it, made like a $5 profit after, or made a $5 profit after the repairs and everything. And I kept doing that until I could afford a good computer.
Nice. Okay.
And then from there, I started moving a lot of weight with that, and that was around the age of 15. At that point, I was getting banned from eBay and PayPal because they were finding out my age somehow or another because of the competition locally. Mm-hmm. And then it stemmed off into reselling, and what many people don't know is my first resale business, before getting into my current and main business right now, was actually selling vintage clothing. And I would only scout eBay. So pretty much what I would do is I would buy on eBay and sell on Instagram, or buy on Instagram and sell on eBay. And it kept, you know what I mean? I didn't piss off the people I was buying from. I didn't piss off the people I was selling from. It's all about keeping your face clean. You know what I mean? If everyone thinks you're the good guy, you are the good guy.
Mm-hmm. So it kind of started out of necessity to get what you
wanted. Yes. And like the reason it is a necessity is because I'm always trying to show that I could do things on my own instead of having people help me. I come from not a poor family, but not a wealthy family either. Like, if you could show other people and your parents and your family what you can do, it offers you a little bit more freedom than everyone else.
Mhm. And it really, yeah, it could stem into something huge.
Yeah, like I'm sure your parents would give you a little bit of trust because you've shown them that you can make a little bit of money here and there. I'm sure if you needed a real loan for something a little bit more serious, they would seriously consider it.
Cause I've shown that. I'm sure you too. You've shown that you could do stuff with your money instead of just
And
spending
they
it.
make your money work for you. Yep. Instead of working for money.
So, are you inspired by anyone?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm inspired by anyone because I don't let myself be influenced directly. My lifestyle is pretty much no one has any value to them unless they prove their value. So, the people who inspire me, there's one person, and I can't really go into details of what he does and what he's done, but he explained to me the value of saving and the value of community building. And he helped with the city of Hazleton and surrounding cities and brought jobs to the area. But that's pretty much what the amount of detail I can go into.
Okay. If not a person, maybe the money.
Oh yeah, no, I'm addicted to the idea of making money. So the deal, I don't really have an obsession with having nice things. I used to have a huge closet filled with designer, Supreme box logos, Jordans, Gucci, and so on. But I actually just got rid of it all because I more care about quality versus quantity and the price of things. So I actually have like 6 or 7 pairs of the same brand of sweatpants that I've worn for the same 5 days a week for literally 4 or 5 years now because they just last so long. Even though it costs a little bit more in the beginning, it still is better in the long run because you're not buying something right away. My friends love to talk about $5 pairs of leggings from Walmart. Like, cool. They last you 2 weeks, they get a rip, they're not comfortable. Whereas if you spent $100 on a pair of Lululemon leggings, they may not be cheap, but they'll last you longer. If the leggings get damaged through the wash or whatever, you can send them back and they'll give you a gift card.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, Lululemon is a pretty great brand.
Apple charger cables. You break an Apple charger cable within 1 year of purchasing it, and there's no like foul play involved. Just like it stops working on you. We both know that happens. You can give it back to Apple, but if you buy one for $10 off of Amazon, you can't send it back to Amazon.
Yeah, quality is pretty important in everything. Everything you go for, everything you own. So, you started reselling out of necessity and to get what you wanted.
It's still a necessity. It will always be a necessity.
So, what are more of your reselling things now?
Right now I have a pretty heavily inventory-based business. So I purchased a very expensive domain recently for its rank in Google because marketing is everything in this world. You know what I mean? My main current business, I started not by selling anything locally. Everything I did was online. I built up a following online, and that proves the value of the internet. If you can make money from nothing, the world is it's limitless. You know what I mean? I didn't rely on my friends, my family, anyone to help me with my first couple sales. Although it took longer, it was better because I did not have anyone right at my door to complain about a product. That's why I hated fixing computers. I moved away from computers because there was a heavy risk in it. If you break someone's computer, they're always going to think of you as breaking their computer. Liability. I'm a low liability type of person. Extremely risk adverse.
Whereas selling stuff online, honestly, selling stuff through the internet is pretty awesome because it's just finding people that you never knew existed,
Exactly.
buying something from you.
And that's what the value of niche markets are. Like, if anyone wants to be successful, you have to find your specific area and then build from there. You can't go wide and then narrow. You go narrow and then widen.
Hmm. Yeah, you can't open up a e-commerce store like Walmart, like everything in the.
Yep, you're 100% correct.
So, what are your future plans?
So right now, I have this heavy inventory-based business, but I really am trying to hedge my bets in a sense and start a business that involves zero inventory and is all software service-based.
Okay.
So one thing that's popular right now is Funkos. Funkos, like the little toys that come in boxes like Funko Pop. Um, those are pretty poppin', like Nikes, Adidas, everyone loves those. And Supreme, obviously. There's other brands, Palace. I love Palace. I would say Palace is my favorite streetwear brand right now because of its creativity and its main triangle. The triangle really is something I like because their logo is almost like continuous, but it ends. It's like it's not a circle, but it's close. You know what I mean?
I like their logo too. I have a hoodie and it's
It's good quality too. But pretty much, my newest site will be heavily software based. I will be, instead of buying the product for myself, I will be selling it for people. So, or not selling it for people. I will be buying it for other people. So I could, within the next month, I should be able to take on 200 credit cards worth of clients to buy items and then take my percentage off of. So, like, let's say the item's a pair of Yeezys and it's $220 retail, and they expect to resell for $400, $500. I'll take 20, 50, 80, depending on what the likelihood of the guarantee is after the purchase goes through.
So you're gonna start doing like a middleman thing?
It's more of like an add to cart service. So someone will give me their information and I will add an item to their cart and check it out for them. And instead of paying $500 resale for a $220 pair of shoes, they'll give me like maybe 120 and end up paying like 380 and save that $160 they would have to pay in the future.
What are they, proxy, right?
Um, it's proxy is more of a they go to the store type of turn. It's more of like offering people slots through your bots, which I have a great arsenal of robots to check out items through a huge variety of websites that I just built.
So say I'm one of your customers. I want the newest Yeezy that's gonna come out
Next week. Yeah, I'll pay
you now.
nothing now. Nothing now. Nothing now.
So I'll give you my info.
Yep.
If it checks out, you'll charge me. I'll get charged through the website and you'll take your fee
Yep.
and I'll get my shoes.
And the reason so how I guarantee my cut is I have all the confirmation emails sent to my own email. So if someone doesn't pay, I can just cancel their order and they lose out on the profits. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a pick and a choose. Like, yes, I could rip off this guy and not pay him, and then I just cancel the order, or pay this guy his fee and make the money.
So you think that people are gonna use your service and then resell after that?
Yes, because I'm just in college. I don't need to make a living off of this. A lot of these guys need to make a living off of it. And you have to make money in life, you have to first put in 100, 200, 300, a million hours of unpaid work to become an expert in your field. I'm offering right now to some of my good friends free, or $10, no matter what the item is, just so that we can get training experience. And all of that money gets reinvested because during your 20s, your 30s, the early 30s, at 35, I'd say chill with your crazy ideas, you know what I mean? But until then, what the fuck else do you have to do? Like, you're how old? 18? 17. You're 17. You make $5,000 off a deal. Why not throw $5,000 into a whole other company and see where that takes you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I any money I make from Surge, it gets put right back into
Exactly.
or something else.
And you have to be dedicated, you know what I mean? A lot of these people, I have friends where I go to college who drive nice sports cars, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, who cares if your parents got that for you? I'd take a nice, Toyota, Camry or whatever, I don't know, a used car maybe. Instead of paying $10,000 a year in a lease payment, put that into your own business, you know what I mean? Buy real estate.
And it, yeah.
Today's deal that I was looking at was not for something to be resold. It was actually a long-term asset that I wanted to invest in, a piece of real estate in Hazleton, which is a duplex, and the property would make upwards of $1,500 per month because of tenants, and a mortgage payment for 30 years would be around $600 a month. So then after fees and insurance, you're coming to around, it's going to cost you like $750 a month, and then you're making $750. So, because I have friends in the real estate business, someone explained to me today that I could actually personally buy that property, having no income and a credit score, with a cheap down payment of like $5,000. Okay, through this a 203 program, and it's for people who are like first-time homeowners or people who are living in the home. You know what I mean? Now, to get the low down payment, I would have to live in one side of it, or it would have to be, I couldn't be collecting rent from it. Okay. So I would actually be turning zero profit for a year while the mortgage gets paid off. But then, once it starts getting paid off, I'm making $750 per month, times 12. You know what I mean? I save another $5,000 that 1 year, and I do this again, and that's $1,500 per month. And you keep doing, you have to build your income generating column. So like the way I think of assets is assets make your bank account go up, liabilities make your bank account go down. So like if I were to buy a house, if I were married right now, I would never buy a house because it's not making me any money. I would buy an apartment building or a duplex and live in one side and have the other side pay the mortgage because it would be taking zero. You know what I mean? It would cancel out each other. But if you just own a house, it's really taking away from the money you could be spending on making more money.
That's true. And yeah, you're right, you shouldn't really buy a house at such a young age or...
My advice to anyone who wants to make money is pretty much buy things that appreciate. You know what I mean? Like buy sure things that go up in value, or buy things that you know are undervalued. When I buy certain items to resell, like I still thrift shop in Hazleton, and like newsflash, Goodwill, Salvation Army, they suck. Don't thrift there. There's other places to thrift that are so much cheaper. I find crazy designer ties, crazy vintage t-shirts all around this area, but all I do is hear people complain saying they have nothing to buy in this area. You know what I mean? Like there's no cool places to go. There's a ton. Like people just need to get creative and stop sitting on their phone all the time. Like, I'm on my phone 8-12 hours a day, but it's for business. There's people on their phone 8-12 hours a day playing games. Like,
playing games and scrolling through Instagram and Facebook and Twitter.
And just wait, like, you might be listening to this podcast now, and in like a year, it may click in your head, and you might say, like, damn, the satisfaction from making money, paying off your debts, growing your assets, being able to retire, it tastes way better. Like, Serge, you know what it feels like to make some bread. Like these kids, and you don't go and blow your paycheck. No,
exactly. Everything I make goes back into Surge, and honestly, the satisfaction of making an online sale from someone you don't know is just unreal.
Exactly. I mean,
a sale to this kid in Australia, a couple sale. He's bought a couple of things, and it's just like so cool to me that he found me through Instagram, and my ads and my things convinced him enough to purchase something. And
sell or be sold, my friend. Yep. He was sold and you were selling.
So, are you doing anything now with real estate?
I have not yet dived into it at this point. Like, it's a big risk because if you can't pay something off, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm truly trying to start this next company that has zero inventory, because everything I make from that is straight profit. Even if I make less money, it's straight profit. So, like, let's say I have one good day where I make $5,000 with that business. Besides reinvesting in that business and more software, $5,000 down payment on a house. Rent that house out, make $50 a month. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? What's $50? You know what I mean? Like, because after 30 years, when it's paid off, like, my grandparents paid their house off in 6 years when they were young, because they put all of the money they made back into the house. You know what I mean? And then after that 6 years, they could do something else. So you could choose in real estate to make zero money for 10 years and do a 10-year mortgage, or you can do it 20 years and make a little bit more, or you could do it 30 years and make the most amount of money. And it's all about what you're going to do with the money you make. Are you going to use that money to pay off the mortgage really quick? Are you going to use it to reinvest in other properties? And we're, as teenagers, as college students, we're at the prime time to buy something, because in 30 years, when we want to retire, it's there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if any of you guys out there have bank accounts with $15,000, $20,000 that you've worked really hard into. I have a friend who goes to Penn State, Maine. He just sold $50,000 of stocks that was a gift he inherited from his grandfather or something like that. He sold that and put 20% down on a 6-unit apartment building out there. Okay, so now he ends up making, after mortgage payment for 30 years, after everything else, he ends up making $17,000 a year after everything's paid off. You know what I mean? And that's for the next 30 years. And then after that, he makes an extra $3,000, I think, because it's all paid off. Now, what that means, within 3 years, he gets his initial investment back. And he could put his money into another project.
And that was just extra money he didn't have earlier.
Exactly.
That's the way to do it.
And he still owns the property. He could sell that and, make the difference of the 1 year, and then have that free $17,000.
So, what is the most you've spent on a personal item?
A personal item, I have this wallet in my pocket. I don't want to pull it out because it's like my favorite special wallet. Everyone knows, if you know me, you know what my wallet looks like. Pretty much, it's that wallet, and I looked for it for about 2 years. But if we go on to a non-personal level, for my business, I recently purchased $7,400 worth of inventory.
To sell,
which I estimate, I go through spreadsheets, and everything is, so when you make decisions, do not think it through in your head. Make sure it's on the computer, you know what I mean? Chart it out, use spreadsheets, use Excel. Excel is an amazing tool. I calculated that if I bought this $7,400 worth of inventory, or whatever I said it was, if the market gets screwed up, you know what I mean? If my business fails, I could sell it and turn a profit of $2,500. If I sell wholesale to some of my clients, I'll make $8,000 profit. And if I sell through my new website, which is going to be awesome, and it's going to be automated, and I'm going to have to do even less work, it's going to do all of the marketing through someone else, you know what I mean? I'm not going to have to do any of it. I'll make $30,000 profit.
Okay, because you'll be doing not bulk, but like individual items.
Yes, and I'll be even doing more upcharging because of search engine optimization. My website will be like the first one. Okay. I have such a good domain, I have such good computer programmers working, that I could charge 25% over market price just because I'll be having Instagram ads. I'll be having the best pages for these types of items recommending me, because I've made such a good network by not pushing my friends, you know what I mean, helping people out when it costs you nothing to help them out, giving people stuff at cost, because people don't forget those things. Although they may seem like it, maybe sometimes the one-time person does, but if you're constantly helping people, offering your advice, forwarding deals that you can't personally do, people will always be willing to help you. 90% of the population is willing to help you.
That's interesting. So this is going to be a new website, new name. How do you expect people to trust you and your website to buy off you?
Pretty much review based, and then I have Instagram, I have Facebook, I have Twitter with already pre-established things on it. I'm in the process of trying to get the domain name I have, on Instagram, but it's a long road because the name I believe is currently reserved by a company that I do currently sell. If that makes sense. So they're trying to block someone else from having that Instagram name. And
So you have a
do
domain?
business name. So my domain name is like it was real expensive. It was like $2,000 for a website app that like no one gives a shit about except for my niche market. But the key is the niche is part of like a big thing. Like, let's say I sell super parts online, like Toyota super parts. Like if you want to make money selling Toyota super parts, you're pretty much gotta specialize into like 1 to 3 years. You know what I mean? Until you know it really well, because there's so many people selling super parts. Like there's so many people selling Supras. Like
So, are you using like Shopify or?
yeah, Shopify, yeah.
Shopify's a great website.
Yep, Shopify, it's way better than GoDaddy, it's way better than Big Cartel. It's very customizable, especially if you're a good programmer. The one thing that I'm trying to figure out is who could, like, outsourcing stuff to warehouses, you know what I mean? Like, does Surge do anything with drop shipping or no?
No.
So you do all your shipping yourself?
Yeah, I get it to here and I ship it out of here.
Alright, so I'm trying to figure out how I could have another company actually do the packaging of my merchandise and then ship it out. So I'm actually
have them hold the product.
Yep, have them. So like in management information systems, there's like vendor managed inventory, which means at Microsoft they may have a warehouse filled with inventory they don't own, and they would go into it every hour or two, and they would take inventory. And then the company who fills up the room is in charge of making sure it's stocked. And what I would like to do is pretty much just make sure the room is stocked and they handle the shipping. And if I would still be doubling, tripling my money, even if I paid them 30% of sales.
So yeah, so you really want it automated.
I want to be out of it not because I don't
Get
love
the
it.
Shopify notification.
Yep.
On your phone.
I just want to be out of it because you want to move on to bigger and better things. And that's pretty much, you can't take too much time and smell the roses when right next door there could be a plant, like a field filled with roses. You just have yet to experience it.
Yeah, for sure. So, what are your opinions on college?
Okay, so college, everyone needs to experience their first semester like they've decided that they're transferring and make as much friends as you can. You know what I mean? Like, pretend this is your last semester here because you can't afford it or whatever. Because I know a lot of people who've transferred colleges after their first semester as freshmen. They've dropped out. They've said they've hated it. And, like, I did not enjoy my first semester, but towards the end of it, it got insanely awesome. Like, use free resources your college gives you. If you go to Penn State, if you go to Pittsburgh, if you go to Temple, there's these programs like Lynda. They'll give you free Adobe Photoshop. You can get tutors, you know what I mean? Like public universities and big private universities, they're amazing with what they give you. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I've talked about this with a couple people on the show, and I feel like everyone should, if they're iffy about going to college. I haven't even gone to college, so I don't know. My opinion doesn't really matter that much, but I feel like everyone should try it.
I disagree.
You don't think so?
Nope. And here's why. Some people are really good at like labor first force skills. Like I never needed to fucking go to college. Like if you want to go to college, like I'm forced to go to college. If you want to go to college, go. If you don't. Because it should be for people who want to continue their education. And you know what I mean? Like it's not for everyone. And the college, like what's next? We're gonna have everyone getting doctorate degrees because college isn't good enough to get you a job. You need to figure out what you love to do and monetize it, and that's the key.
So you feel like you didn't learn much from college?
Well, college, I appreciate it, but I think the more, if I didn't go to college, I'd have more time to fail quicker. You know what I mean? And it pushes off me doing things in my business because I'm worrying about school, I'm worrying about my grades, I'm worrying about being social. Whereas what I actually do in college is pretty much I only leave my apartment for classes and to go out to eat with my friends and the occasional party, although I don't drink. Because I like to go to a party and be the only sober person in a room. It's like taking advantage of whatever you want. You can get whatever you want out of people. You can ask them whatever questions. You can pretend you're drunk. Like, it's just funny to be, it's like almost being a police officer interrogating someone. Like, they can literally do nothing to you because you're completely fine.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who's fucked up.
Uh-huh. And you could just see and
Yeah.
interesting.
Another aspect of college is like, if you're good at something and you can perfect it in college, like, I have a friend who's like really good at artwork, but he wants to go to school to learn biology because he wants to be able to mix biology and artwork. And I'm like, dude, that's the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, like, do you know anyone who's good at mechanics? Like, any people who work at garages? Like, let's say you know someone who works at a garage, but they want to go to art school to learn how to draw cars better so that they can implement those. Like, master your hobby first. Master what you love first, and then move on to other things. The more things that you master, the better it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like in college. Like a double major is better than a major and 4 minors.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, can you talk to me a little bit about your connections in the rap game or famous people?
Yeah, pretty much. So the way I got my introduction to the rap, photography, music, you know what I mean, culture, fashion, whatever the fuck people want to call it, lifestyle, is I like to introduce myself to people, but that's not the way I had my big break. My big break pretty much came from I was cold calling people on Instagram saying, hey, my name is so and so. I'm interested in buying these types of items. I know you have a connection with these types of brands, these types of friends. And I messaged hundreds of people, probably 1,000. I messaged the owner of Huff. I messaged the owner of Diamond Supply Company. I actually am I'm on good terms with the owners of Huff, the owner of Sir, which is famous for this logo called, it's like Comme des Garçons, except Comb the fuck down. And they did that in like ASAP Rocky, ASAP Yams, they were all seen with that. One of my boys, this guy who I cold called, we'd been friends for about a year, and he started introducing me to like these models. And one of these models just so happened to be the baby mama of this famous DJ's son. And although he's not that big anymore, I mean, he's still pretty big, let's just say that. He's getting sample pairs of sneakers still. He's getting friends and family pairs. He's getting discounted pairs, you know what I mean? All these clothes. He owns his own brand with over 500,000 followers on Instagram. He's followed by famous people that have been they're way more well known than the Kardashians. You know what I mean? Like there are people our parents would recognize as famous. You know what I mean? He was an OG in this. His best friends own brands. His best friend owns a chain of nightclubs that are considered the best and most well known, most cultured, most creative, most prestigious nightclubs. And it's really about helping other people more than you help yourself. So this kid's son, he he asked me for guidance on how to guide his son and do what I do and make money. And I start helping this guy. In exchange, he starts throwing me favors now.
Yeah.
And it's really, you have to go into it with a mindset that no one's going to help you. And as Gary Vee says, this is how I deal with annoying people. I have no expectation from what to expect from anyone. You know what I mean? No one will affect my life's happiness. I'm already happy. And I believe that came from, my parents reinforcing at a young age that no one's opinion gives a shit. You know what I mean? Everyone's opinion can walk out that door right now because what really matters is how you feel about yourself. And mental health, 3 out of 4 times, as studies show, is really all up here. You know what I mean? Like, you can control the types of chemicals your body is putting in back into your body. And it's really a mindset, you know what I mean? A lot of times you can think your way out of things, you know what I mean? Do you think there's like health and wealth go very hand in hand, whether it be mental health, physical health, working out is a big thing. Like, I personally de-stress through other ways, like reading or listening to people tell stories. But some people, yoga is amazing for them. It completely clears their mind. Like, friends think I'm crazy when I say I go home at night and I get in my bed and I look at the ceiling and not one thought passes through my mind.
Do you meditate?
No. I know about meditation. I've studied it because I love to study things. You know what I mean? After you master your field of what you love to do, you start to love other things. You start to find the beauty in everything.
Mm-hmm. I've done a little research on meditation. It seems really helpful.
It's all Zen. It's all about, oh, well, I mean, now that we're getting into the body, I mean, I've read many books on body language, you know what I mean? How to tell if a female is nervous if she touches her neck, you know what I mean? If she touches the back of her neck, it means she's stressed, like the shoulders, if they're back forward, the chin, if it's up, down, out, in, you know what I mean? Like, if the hands are crunched up, if the hands are open up, if when you have your hands on your waist, if your fingertips are pointing out towards where you're facing, or if they're facing behind you, like where your thumbs would be. That all changes the way people perceive you. So if you study on the way people perceive you, you can make people perceive you any way you want them to.
So have you used that, like mind control or?
In a sense, it's not really, I don't consider it manipulation. I consider it using all the resources you have. The more you learn about the human body, it's not like you're intentionally trying to do this. It becomes a part of your life, analyzing people. You know what I mean? I could tell if someone's lying to me, like not like at least like more than not. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say 9 out of 10 times because there's always that one person that will try to stump you. But out of context, you know what I mean? If someone doesn't think I'm studying them, I could catch a liar a lot of the times.
Yeah, lies are pretty. I mean, I don't know. I could tell.
The average person can't tell a good liar from an honest person, though. You know what I mean? Like, I pay attention to eye movement. I pay attention to shoulder positioning. I pay attention to how much skin. And it's the really good liars, they make it seem like that's how they are all the time. Like, you have to realize what's natural and what's artificial.
Yeah, good liars, I'm sure, practice, and it's pretty fucked up, but
Yeah.
it's how people do it.
You can have a poker face, but you can't have a poker body.
So you're saying
People can have people can have really good faces that you can't tell the difference. Like, me and you, we're looking eye to eye, and I don't look at anything but your face. That's like nothing for me to base my prediction off of. But if I see where your hands are, where your feet are, which way your head's leaning, and those are all tells on to see like the benefits of someone, what they're.
so they're all signs to
Tells.
human whatever.
And you're
You pay attention to that sometimes.
All the time. It's a part of my life.
okay.
The more you surround yourself with stuff like that, the more it becomes part of your life.
So you could catch a bad vibe if
Oh, 100%.
Someone's
up to no good.
Yep. Oh yeah, bad vibes are my thing. Like, I just have to hear a person talk about something they say they're passionate about, and I can tell if they're truly passionate about it. I can tell if they have experience. And a good thing to do is, like, there's this technique called mirroring, mimicking, whatever you want to call it. And it's where if you want to engage someone, you pretend like you're engaged, you look at them with soft eyes, you know what I mean? You put genuine expression on your sentences. I'm sure you could fake that right now. And then let's say I say, My favorite type of pizza is Jerry's Pizza in Wilkes-Barre. And then you respond back, Jerry's Pizza in Wilkes-Barre? And it makes me then, it's my move then. So you can direct the conversation. You could pull whatever part of the conversation you want. You could say pizza, question mark, you know what I mean? You could say your favorite, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can go
What
with
do you like
whatever.
Angelo's?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like Angelo's, but like, we could talk about how public universities are the best universities in Pennsylvania. And then you could say, public universities? And that will literally trigger me into going into why public university. You know, you're focusing on public universities instead of education, instead of Pennsylvania. You could take it anywhere if you know how to direct a conversation.
You go to a public university or private?
I go currently to a public university.
Okay. Will you name that or no?
No.
Okay. So, Mr. Feynman, will you tell me about just tell me about some books and what you...
So, I have already written for this interview, let's say, 5 books. One is in the process of being published, and 4 of those are to be published at a later time, or they're only like the drafts, so they're not really ready to be out there. But, number 1, writing a book makes you an expert in whatever you do. If you wrote a book right now, how to start a clothing business, and wrote a podcast at the same time, I'm sure you could sell some copies because people want to know what goes into it. You know what I mean? Like, you can make it cheap. You don't always have to make money off of shit. Like, just having money cycle through, like, is good. You know what I mean? If you're turning over revenue, just because there's no profit doesn't mean it's not a successful business.
It's a plus, yeah.
Yeah, the profit is your holy shit, that was a good idea. The being able to break even is, okay, I'm not a fucking idiot. Like, the profit is luck, and everyone gets lucky every once in a while. Like, if your goal is to roll a 6 in dice, like 1 out of 6 times, you're pretty much going to hit a 6, and that's where you're going to make profit in life. It's like you keep rolling the dice, and then you find out which the lucky number is, and then you stop rolling the other dice, move on to the next set of 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I started this podcast with no intentions of making money, and I still don't, and I don't really expect to unless it blows up. But I'm doing this out of passion and out of curiosity for local people and people of interest.
That's exactly why I'm here. Like, usually this isn't something I do, but I decided, like, I want to do more stuff for the community because, number 1, Hazleton's going to be booming in like 10, 20 years. With all of the incoming population, you best be getting on top right now. When I talk about real estate, I'm not doing real estate, you know, in another part of Pennsylvania or in the Poconos, you know what I mean, or in New Jersey, New York. You know what? I'm doing it here because there's so much potential to make profit. And like, let's say the economy, let's say it's doing great right now. Okay, if the economy turns to shit, I could sell my multiple houses I want to have and buy something like an apartment building. You know what I mean? Like, when the economy is not doing good, like, you know what I mean? Like, move into the better deals. Like, with the stock market, when the stock market crashes, that's pretty much a coupon to buy whatever fucking stock you want. It's not like you lost a lot of money because your goal should be to hold long term.
Yeah.
And the stock market moves in cycles. So if you pick, like, the key to picking stocks to make money is research the stock. You know what I mean? See if it's under good management. See if it has a good board of directors. See if it has good products, and see if it has good future product development. And if I were to invest in stocks, that's what I would do. And that's for someone who wants to just gain like 10, 20% per year and hold it for 50 years. People lose money because they'll sell a stock when it crashes and then buy when it's high. If I were to buy $100,000 of stocks right now, it would cost me $110 to do it because of the fees. And then to sell them, it would cost another 10%. So in that one day, I'm literally losing $20,000 buying and selling. And, like, I've read about, there's this method to make money through people's retirement or college funds. So pretty much the way it works is, if people want to make money, they can make their retirement fund. You can buy part of your own business in it. You just can't own 100% of it. It has to be like under 50%. So let's say me and Serge want to start a business, and we have retirement funds. We just put in our limit for the year $6,000. Okay, we start a corporation, and we sell 2% to our family, 1% each of us, and then we keep 49% each. Okay. Then our next move is we take that $12,000 we both put in together. Any profits we make after paying corporate tax, which is lower than personal tax, any of those profits are tax-free. So you could build up a company to $100 million and then sell it, and you're taking that. You would lose like 30% to taxes, but you're really only losing 20% because you did it through a corporation, because it's pre-taxed money going to your retirement plan. People do the same thing with houses and their children's college money. If you buy a house to flip it through your children's college fund, and all of that profit is pre-taxed. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So really, you could make your children be able to go to school forever at the nicest college, all through selling one or two pieces of real estate.
Yeah, real estate is the move.
But it's long term. To be successful in business, you cannot have impulse. You have to have like emotional intelligence. You have to know how to react in certain situations. And like, to any of you out there who are constantly getting in fights, constantly freaking out, constantly like, I don't know, throwing tantrums, you know what I mean, hating on people, number one, unconditional love. Because love everyone, because people are going through shit you have no idea what's going through. People could die tomorrow. Number two is stop letting other people influence you, influence other people. If other people make you upset, stop getting upset by them, because literally they win then. Like, if you can distance yourself from everyone, you're fine. Like, you'll have no problem being a good worker. And number one, if you choose a job, that was your choice. So if you choose to work at McDonald's, you choose to work at Wendy's, you choose to work at Panera, work your butt off. Because if you work for the position you want to have, say manager, as an employee, you will get recognized eventually. And if you don't get recognized, like, leave and go somewhere else. Other places will be happy to take you if you're working that hard.
Yeah, if you're not happy with something in your life, you can make the change, like a person, a job.
You are in the driver's seat of your own life.
Yeah. People complain too much about pretty much everything.
Get off your ass. If you don't want to work hard labor as a high schooler in the field, you know, at Amazon, at a fast food restaurant, research and sell your skill. Learn how to code. It's free to learn how to code off YouTube. You're just not fucking dedicated enough.
YouTube has so many skills you can learn. Like, you could learn anything off YouTube.
Literally, read books. Like, what, 10 pages a day? Times 365 days a year? That's 3,650 pages divided by 200-page books. That's at least, what is it? That's at least 17, 18 books a year.
A couple books, yeah.
Yeah, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham teaches you how to invest. It's about 600 pages. That's 60 days, 2 months. People say that's a legendary book. Personally, I disagree. My top book on learning about the stock market is, I would say, the shortest investment book you'll ever read, and it takes about 3 hours to read straight through.
Name of the book?
Yes, the shortest investment book you'll ever read. And it pretty much teaches you that if you want to be a successful investor, invest in good items, and don't touch your money. Forget about it. You know what I mean? Like, the more money you lose, or the more money you spend in the business, the quicker you figure out how to make more. Tell me I'm wrong.
No.
Like, the quicker I buy some expensive shit inventory, the quicker I figure out, okay, I need money in my pocket right now.
If you go balls deep and throw all your money into something, you're going to figure out a way to sell it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. All right, hit me with some more questions. I know the time's getting low.
So, I don't have much more for you. Let's see. What are your plans with real estate in this area? Can you go?
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
it's
mean, like,
specific,
I
or-
just, right now, I want to start eventually, I want to buy, like, within the next 2 years, I'd like to have at least one I mean, by the end of the summer, I'd love to have a property, but rather be safe than sorry, number one. And if you're not 100, so the thing about investing and taking risks, if you know it's a good deal, it's not a risk. Okay, that's the key. When I buy shit to sell, I have no problem knowing it's going to make me money because I've done my due diligence. I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm not jumping in after knowing about something for 5 minutes. I'm passing on the too good to be true deals because I'm figuring out where the real deals are. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all about mimicking someone who's already doing it successful. I'm absolutely horrible when it comes to being creative in business. I have no music, I have no art ability, I have no creativity with my own ideas, but I'm awesome at seeing one idea and implementing it into another business.
Mm-hmm. And starting your own version.
One of the things I did to buy certain vintage items is I used to buy things on the eBay of Japan. And during that time when I made my most money, and this was actually my best period because I got in when it was super hot, unfortunately I was too young to recognize the talent I had and the vulnerability of the market that I did not make as much money as I should have. I learned this skill on how to buy things on Japan and how to import them, how to use Japanese words. So I could easily implement that from fashion into cars. Like, I love cars and that's something I'd love to do eventually, but unfortunately I'm not skilled enough to it. But I could teach someone who has a car part reselling business about how to buy cars and car parts in Japan.
Mm-hmm. And get them cheaper.
Well, the thing is there's culture in both areas. The vintage clothing that I was selling, it was founded in America, but someone in Japan loved the idea and invested with the company, and they opened up actually more stores in Japan than they did in America within the first 5 years of the business. So the most unique and rare stuff was in Japan, and also they work off a different schedule than America. So if you're there from midnight American time to 8 a.m. Japan time, that's lunch to 8 p.m. Japan time. You know what I mean? You're working while everyone else is sleeping. And there's a famous guy who says, if you rise before the sun rises every morning and you go to bed after it sets, you'll never fail to succeed with your family because the real work starts after those 8 hours a day are done. That's when you really make your money. Because if you think about it, if you work 1 extra hour, you're working literally 100% extra. Mm-hmm. And if you work 2 extra hours, that's 200% extra compared to what you already did, which was just up to 100%. You know what I mean? Like those 40 hours a week are to your 100%. Anything else is just free money.
Mm-hmm. Overtime, extra.
Don't have liabilities as high school and college people. The more money, because you forget about Netflix, you forget about Apple Music. There's always a student discount for everything, remember that. Mm-hmm. So don't pay full price for shit. I never pay full price. Right now I'm wearing $500 sneakers. I got them for free because I did someone a favor and they helped me out. I love smoking cigars and I have a friend who dates rich women who will just get out of divorces a lot of time, and he hooks me up with cigars when there's humidors, you know what I mean? Yeah. He hooks me up with shit that can't be resold because you can't really sell cigars because they need to be from an authorized dealer. But if you come across $3,000 of cigars, give me them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even if it's for free, if it's for cash, I'm not going to pay full price for a cigar. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to pay full price for jeans. I'm not going to pay full price for gas. Mm-hmm. Sheets card. If any of you guys are constantly at Sheets and you don't have a Sheets card, like, you're fucking retarded.
No, yeah.
I got a Sheets card as soon as I got my license. And
like, I mean, 50,000 miles on my car right now. Divided by 24 miles a gallon, that's 2,000 gallons of gas, let's say. You know what I mean? Okay, 2,000 gallons of gas times 3 cents a gallon, that's right there. $60 that you could put into your next business. Coupons, you should be couponing. You never pay full price for clothing, except from Surge. But,
hey, I mean, even I offer discount codes.
Yeah, it just
there will be one at the end of this video, I don't know.
You never know. But, pretty much, yeah, like, be creative with shit. Like, I love accounting, like, math, and, like, business bookkeeping, because if you have one side of an equation, you could figure out the other side. It's just like math. Like, you could figure out both sides of it given limited information.
All right, so Mr. Feynman, I have one more question for you. What items would you like to see coming out of Surge Clothing in the future?
I think Surge. What items do you have right now?
Right now, it's t-shirts, long sleeves, beanies, hoodies that are sold out, and that's
Accessories, 100%. Make some fucking cool ass accessories. I'd love some Surge matchbooks. Surge lighters from Vic.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know what I mean? Like, what do lighters cost? Both maybe $1. Sell them to your friends for $5 a piece. Who gives a shit?
yeah. I actually have lanyards coming in and pens. I'm just gonna hand out the pens or whatever.
Yeah.
Lanyards, they should be pretty cool. And then also in the summer, I'm doing hats and socks. They're some new items.
Good shit.
Yep.
Keep expanding. Don't spread too thick though. Focus on what makes you the most amount of money, and then add some complementary items. You know what I mean? Don't try to develop your own successful thing. But I do actually have one more thing to say. Guys or girls who have trouble dating, it's mostly because everyone. So number one, like, actually, we'll get into it next episode.
Okay. All right. Well, I do have one more thing for you. You're gonna sign the shirt. Would you like to sign the front or the back?
I'll take the back. Because I like when people, when I'm in front of them and they see me. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning into this episode of the Surge Show. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. If you are a fan of the show and you want to help improve the quality of the show, any and all donations would be appreciated to @Angelo-Seach on Venmo. And that money would go towards a new camera, which I hate that keeps happening, that the camera keeps cutting out in the middle of recording. And I've had a lot of issues lately with it, and I just felt like I had to address this. I don't expect anything, but any and all donations would be appreciated. And shit, man. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Leave some comments. Leave some comments on who you may think it is behind the mask.